When you think archaeology, your mind probably jumps straight to Indiana Jones, right? Whips, ancient traps, and finding lost treasure. But for today's real-life explorers, the biggest challenge isn't finding a secret door. It's making the incredibly tough decision to leave it sealed shut.
I know what you're probably thinking. That sounds completely crazy, doesn't it? I mean, we've got the technology, we know where these secrets are hiding, so why don't we just open the doors? Well, the answer is way more complex than you'd think, involving everything from deadly ancient warnings to our own modern-day blunders.
All right, let's kick things off with the reasons that feel like they're ripped straight from a movie script. We're talking legendary barriers, stories of terrifying curses, ancient booby traps, and toxic tombs designed to protect the dead forever.
First stop, we're heading to China, to the massive tomb of its very first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Now, this was a guy who was totally obsessed with living forever. He's the one who unified the country and started building the Great Wall. And to top it all off, he built this enormous underground palace, guarded by an army of thousands of life-size clay soldiers, all so he could keep on ruling in the afterlife.
So why on earth is this incredible place still sealed? Well, there are 5 really big reasons. First, you've got legends of a deadly curse on anyone who dares to disturb the emperor's rest. Second, ancient history books actually describe the tomb as being rigged with booby traps, like crossbows that could still fire after 2,000 years. Third, and this one is backed by modern science, the emperor supposedly created rivers of liquid mercury, and we know this is likely true because we found sky-high levels of mercury in the soil all around the tomb. Fourth is, of course, the deep cultural importance of respecting the ancestors, but the biggest roadblock of all is number 5. We just don't have the technology yet to open it without pretty much destroying everything inside.
Okay, now let's jump over to India, where another sealed door holds a much more tangible kind of threat. Back in 2011, investigators were taking inventory at the Padmanabhaswamy temple when they stumbled upon something absolutely wild in the basement. 6 secret, sealed chambers that had been hidden away for centuries.
And what they found when they managed to open the first 5 of those vaults was just staggering. We're talking a treasure trove of solid gold statues, sacks overflowing with diamonds, and precious gems literally the size of ostrich eggs. The estimated total value is over 200 billion euros. It's the largest discovery of its kind in human history. But one door remains sealed.
And this is that final door, Chamber B. It's made of solid iron, and get this, it has no lock, no latch, not even a bolt. It's guarded by these 2 menacing cobras. The legend says it's sealed not by a key, but by sound waves from a secret mantra, and that any attempt to force it open will unleash an absolute catastrophe.
And the local belief in this curse is incredibly strong. When scientists trying to force the door open, the public, religious leaders, even members of the royal family fiercely opposed it. The lawyer who first demanded the vaults be opened died mysteriously just weeks later, and some people who have put their ears to the door swear they've heard the sounds of snakes and rushing water inside. So, for now, the mystery remains locked away.
But it's not always about curses and ancient legends. More often than not, the reasons for keeping history's greatest doors closed are far more modern, and frankly, far more complex. It's usually a delicate dance between science, politics, and the really hard lessons we've learned about preservation.
We have learned the hard way why patience is so important. When the first of those terracotta warriors were unearthed back in the 70s, their beautiful, vibrant paint vanished. Poof, within minutes of hitting the air. For years, we destroyed priceless ancient scrolls from Pompeii just by trying to unroll them. Our past mistakes have cost us irreplaceable knowledge, and that's exactly why, today, sometimes, we just wait. I mean, take the world-famous Taj Mahal. Most people think it's a palace, but it's actually a gigantic, elaborate tomb for an emperor's beloved wife. And those 2 tombs you see on display when you visit as a tourist, they're just for show. They're empty. The real crypts, the ones containing the actual bodies, are sealed in chambers deep beneath the main floor. And there are 2 major reasons these crypts are completely off-limits. The official, scientific one is that the whole marble structure is incredibly fragile. The sudden change in humidity and carbon dioxide from opening those sealed chambers could seriously weaken the foundations and maybe even risk a collapse. But then there's this other, politically explosive theory, that the emperor, who was Muslim, had his wife mummified in a Hindu style.
If that were true, it would violate Islamic law and create a massive religious and political firestorm.
This tricky blend of science and politics is a theme you see over and over. In Egypt, we know for a fact that the Great Sphinx is just riddled with tunnels and passages. Radar has even detected large, man-made cavities deep beneath its pods. So why aren't we digging? Well, the official reason, again, is structural integrity. The ancient limestone is so fragile that any major excavation could cause the whole thing to catastrophically collapse.
But there's also a really powerful human element. For decades, Egyptian archaeology was pretty much dominated by figures like Zahi Hawass, who famously restricted access to a lot of these sites. Now, he argued it was necessary to preserve them from aggressive or careless researchers, but it just goes to show you how the control of history can become a really personal and political game.
And maybe the best example of this is the standoff happening at Machu Picchu. A French explorer used ground-penetrating radar and claims he's found the hidden royal tomb of the great Incan emperor, Pachacutec. But a very prominent Peruvian historian has blocked every single attempt to excavate. The explorer accuses the historian of wanting to swoop in and steal the credit, while the historian accuses the European of just trying to rob Peru of its national heritage, and the result? A complete and total deadlock. The door stays sealed, not by a curse, but by human ego.
So, we've seen why all these ancient doors are still shut tight. But here's the twist. This isn't just about the past. Right now, as we speak, our own civilization is busy creating its own forbidden doors, designed to stay locked for thousands and thousands of years.
That's right. We are actively building the great mysteries for the archaeologists of the far, far future. We're sealing places away, not to protect treasure or the bodies of kings, but to protect future generations from the incredibly dangerous things that we've created.
And the timescale we're talking about here is it's mind-boggling. Emperor Qin's tomb has been sealed for about 2,000 years. But the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Facility in the United States, it is designed to be sealed for a minimum of 10,000 years. And hidden behind Mount Rushmore, there's a secret chamber called the Hall of Records with a time capsule, meant to explain our entire civilization to whatever or whoever finds it in the unimaginably distant future.
And all of this brings us to one last, big, thought-provoking question. Maybe the greatest reason of all to leave some doors closed is that the mystery itself is a kind of treasure. You know, these unopened doors, they fuel our imagination, our sense of wonder about the past. They give us something to dream about. So we have to ask ourselves, is the knowledge we gain from solving a mystery always worth more than the dream we might destroy in the process?